My name's Ryan, and this is what happened to my grandfather 83 years ago today. The story starts approximately 5,100 miles from the small city in Iowa, Charles City, that my grandfather grew up in, and it takes him to a little known place in Tunisia called Faid Pass. This was the run up to the Battle of the Kasserine Pass, which, as far as I know, is the first major battle between the United States military and Axis powers of Germany and Italy. On January 23rd, 1943, the Allied 8th Army took Tripoli, Erwin Rommel's main supply base. Rommel had anticipated this, switching his line of supply to Tunis with the goal of blocking the southern approach to Tunisia from Tripoli at Gabis. The Mareth Line, which was a defensive line that the French had built to protect against an Italian attack from Libya, was, in Rommel's eyes, quote, a line of antiquated French blockhouses which in no way measured up to the standards required by modern warfare. Allied troops had already crossed the Atlas Mountains and set up a forward base at Faid in the foothills on the eastern arm of the mountains, an excellent position to thrust east to the coast, split the Axis forces in southern Tunisia from the forces further north, and cut the line of supply to Tunis. On January 30th, elements of the 5th Panzer Army, headed by General Hans-Jürgen von Arnim, reached the Allied positions on the eastern foot of the Atlas Mountains. The 21st Panzer Division met French troops at Faid, and despite excellent use of the French 75mm guns, which caused heavy casualties among the German infantry, the defenders were easily forced back. U.S. artillery and tanks of the 1st Armored Division then entered the battle, destroying some enemy tanks and forcing the remainder into what appeared to be headlong retreat. This was, however, a trap, and when the 1st Armored Division gave chase, it was engaged by a screen of German anti-tank guns and sustained heavy casualties. A U.S. forward artillery observer whose radio and landlines had been cut by shell fire recalled, "It was murder. They rolled right into the muzzles of the concealed 88s, and all I could do was stand by and watch tank after tank blown to bits or burst into flames or just stop, wrecked. Those in the rear tried to turn back, but the 88s seemed to be everywhere." The 21st Panzer Division resumed its advance toward Faid. American infantry casualties were exacerbated by the practice of digging shallow shell scrapes instead of foxholes, as German tank drivers could easily crush a man inside a scrape by driving into it and simultaneously making a half turn. Several attempts were made by the 1st Armored Division to stop the German advance, but all three combat commands found that each defensive position they tried to occupy had already been overrun, and they were attacked by German troops with heavy losses. On February 2nd, the 1st Armored Division was ordered to end its attack and concentrate to form a reserve. The Germans captured most of Tunisia, and the entrances into the coastal lowlands were blocked. The Allies held the interior of roughly triangular Atlas Range, but with the exits blocked, this was of little advantage. For the next 2 weeks, Rommel and the Axis commanders further north debated what to do next. The Battle of the Kasserine Pass was a major defeat and a humbling baptism by fire for inexperienced U.S. forces against Erwin Rommel's veteran German Afrika Korps, resulting in significant American casualties and retreats, but it also exposed critical flaws that forced the United States Army to improve tactics and leadership, ultimately becoming a vital learning experience for future victories in North Africa and beyond. During the battle, the United Kingdom took a total of 3,000 casualties. Free France took a total of 500 casualties, and the United States took a total of 3,300 killed and wounded. 183 tanks were lost, with 616 vehicles and 208 guns. 3,000 POWs were taken, my grandfather being among them. I have no idea where my grandfather was taken immediately following his capture. I can only imagine how terrifying and just utterly scary that experience must have been. But what I do know is he was captured by Italians, not Germans, and they made him write the following letter. There's a postmark date spot, but it is left blank. The following letter is, "My dear, I am all right," and then crossed out in parentheses it says, "I have not been wounded," or "I have been slightly wounded," so he was not wounded. "I am a prisoner of the Italians, and I am being treated well. Shortly, I shall be transferred to a prisoner's camp, and I will let you have my new address. Only then I will be able to receive letters from you and to reply. With love, Joseph B. Byrne. That's all I have for now. I will release another video when he writes his next letter, which is roughly 3 weeks from today. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. Hit the bell icon so you get notifications whenever his letters come out. I'll catch you on the next one. And as always, thanks for watching.